made so much money that I was like, oh damn, if I got an Uber to Miami, I'm Ubering to Miami, because I made that call center check, I made that in 3 days. So I'm like, nah, the numbers is numbering over here, so I need to be over here. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Toni Aneisha, and first of all, thank you all for the comments, subscribing to my channel, and actually watching my video. Like, the watch time was crazy. I was impressed. But I really am someone that's easy to talk to. I've gotten so many mixed feedback about my first video, and again, I'm still trying to find my niche here on this platform. So some of the feedback I've gotten was, okay, that doesn't sound like your voice, like talk regular. And I am saying, like, what am I supposed to say? Am I supposed to like speak more slang? Because this is how I talk. Like, you can look at all my videos on TikTok, all my videos on Instagram. This is the real voice, y'all. This is the real voice. I'm not putting on a voice for anyone. I also heard that I wasn't being humble enough, which is very tricky because I didn't really talk about much. I was just giving you guys a background on how did I get to this point, or why I started my journey. But nonetheless, we're here for another episode, and I am here to talk about how I got to this point. So it's kind of like an extension of the last video, but I don't want to call it a part 2. But I do want you to understand where I'm at mentally, so that as you follow this journey with me, everything will make sense. So a quick backstory about how I got to Miami. Now, I moved to Miami in September of 2019. Okay, so you already know I moved here with nothing. Well, next to nothing. I'm very grateful for what I had. So I had a bad breakup in Maryland. I decided to move to New York in 2017. I stayed in New York for 2 years. While I was in New York, because I had a lot going on, I was just bartending. However, I was making good money. I didn't have any bills, but I was blowing the money. And something, I don't know what it was, but something just clicked. Like, you're not living right. Like, you're making this money, you don't have any bills, you should be stacking and saving, yet you're partying and drinking and going out. I was like, I no longer want to live like this. So I said, I'm going to take the risk and just move. Now, gratefully, at the time when I moved, my very close friend, like my best friend, she was here at the time. So she allowed me to come to Miami and stay in her apartment for like a month or 2 months, but then I got it on my own. So to get everything I had, so I moved here without a car, without a job interview, without much money. So when I got here, I'm in grind mode, like survival mode. I applied to so many jobs. And the first job I got, remind you, I got here September 3rd, 2019. My first job was September 10th. I should have knew something was up with this job because they just hired me. And it was a bartender on Hollywood Beach. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to be on the beach. I'm going to be making all of this money. All of our money. So first of all, at the time, I was living in this area where to get to work, I had to drive through big. So of course I'm like, oh my God, I'm in the right city. I'm surrounded by everything I want to be, everything that I want to live like. I just love it here. Oh my God. So going to that job, remind you, I had rental cars because I didn't have a car yet. So I'm paying for rentals. Remind you, it's on the beach. So I had to pay $20 every single day to park my car. I used to pay $20 to park my car, and I used to leave with like $60. Who going all the way to work for $40? But at the time, I'm like, look, this is just grind mode. Let me just do what I gotta do. I then got a job, and now this is September 25th. So 2 weeks after I started working at this job, I hated it, but I was working at a call center. So I got the job at the call center, and I'm there from September 25th. And I'm just grinding every day. It's like call center, bartender at night. Call center, bartender at night. November 15th, I got the keys to my apartment. When I got the keys to my apartment, this longtime old friend hit me up and was like, yo, come outside, come to live. It's going to be so lit. Now, remind you, I was working in the day, working at night, working the day, working at night. So I'm like, I finally get an opportunity to go to live, my hair done, my nails done, it's free. Let me just go enjoy myself, because I haven't in so long. Since I've been here, I've been straight grinding. I go to live, and lo and behold, I got into my first ever car accident. Now, this wasn't a little fender bender. I had saved up all my money from September 25th to like, I want to say October. Got my first car. This is the car that I call Stutter. It was my white Nissan Altima. And I drive my car to Miami Beach from where I live. Remind you, this was the day I got the keys to my apartment. I go to live that night thinking I'm celebrating. Like, I got the keys to my apartment, one accomplishment. I total my car. Yo, I don't have no money. I total my car. All right, so now I'm out of a car. And I'm in this empty apartment. I didn't have, it was just me, my 4 suitcases, and twin size air mattress that I got from Walmart. And I just totaled my car. So I am just devastated, because I thought I came so far. I'm like, but this is just a minor setback. So now I'm Ubering every day to work. So that job at that beach, I had to quit that. It was no way I was leaving my 9 to 5 to get all the way over there on the beach in an Uber, because the money I was making on that Uber, I probably wouldn't have made it at that job. So I had to redirect my life. So now I had this 9 to 5 at the call center, which was a little more stability. And it was in an area where they had a couple restaurants. So I said, you know, let me just bartend at one of the restaurants that's right across the street, to where I'm not spending money on an Uber to get to work. So I get a job right across the street. So literally my 9 to 5, I will change my clothes at 5 o'clock, walk across the street. They got the nerve to tell me, remind you, this is some, they got the nerve to tell me that they don't hire bartenders. Me being desperate, like, okay, I'll be a server. I hated it. I was so miserable. But I was there every day, grinding, because in my mind, I got to get a new car. But to get a new car, you need this down payment. So I'm in there, I'm grinding, I'm working, and I got my new car in February. So from November 15th to February, I'm carless, Uber mommy, working 2 jobs, empty apartment. I didn't care about the apartment being empty, I'm not gonna lie, because I was never there. I was at work from sunup to sundown. The only thing is that on my like one little day off, I used to be like, wow, this apartment is like empty. So this is up until February. February, I got my new car. So excited. And then I meet this girl, well, this girl at the call center I was working with. She was like, oh, didn't you say you bartend? Look, this place is having auditions. We should go, and you should see if you can get a bartender job in. Now, this is all the way in Miami. In my mind, I'm like, yo, this girl, no, I don't have a car. Like, who's coming all the way to Miami? I go to the audition, and I get hired, and she didn't even get hired. When I say my first day of work there was Super Bowl Sunday, I made so much money that I was like, oh, damn, if I got an Uber to Miami, I'm Ubering to Miami, because I made my entire, that call center check, I made that in 3 days. So I'm like, nah, the numbers is numbering over here, so I need to be over here. So I worked that job, and I mean, I was there. Now, don't get me wrong, I did make a lot of money, but I was there till like 5 in the morning, and I had to go back to that call center at 9 a.m. I did not care about that call center no more, because this was the type of money I was used to. So yeah, I was there at 5 a.m. I would change my clothes, shower, go straight to my other job. So now it's March. The world shuts down. Like, I just get this good job after I've been struggling all that time, and you gonna shut the whole world down? So now I only have the 9 to 5. So I'm working at 9 to 5 from like March up until like July. And in July, they fired me. They fired me because it was a call center. Of course, you're selling something, but who's buying stuff when the world is shutting down? Everyone's figuring it out. So yeah, they fired me from that job, and I'm just like, wow, I have no job. I just got this apartment, and I don't know. I was just so hopeful. I'm like, look, I done been through worse. At least I got a roof over my head. At least I got a car to drive. Because at that point, I had already gotten a new car. My rent was, paid. I was feeling good. I then came into some money. I'm like, look, I'm in Miami. I cannot be on these yachts and party buses and clubs without, you know, a little something, something. So I've always wanted to get, like, if you look at all of my planners, my journals from 2017 till now, the top two things I wanted was teeth and titties. It was teeth and titties. I got braces now, and I did get, you know, the girls. So that was like a transition into like a new life. So my lease was up for that apartment. Oh, I didn't tell y'all about that apartment. So this is my first apartment. It was in the Aventura area, which is a big mall in Florida. If you know, you came. It's right near all the highways. I do have like a 15-minute drive to the beaches. So I thought I was in a perfect location. However, the apartment was not up to date. Granted, I had stainless steel appliances because I wasn't paying for nothing else. But when you walk into the apartment community, it kind of looked like an old motel, like door, 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 door. And then when I'm walking home late at night, it's a bunch of cats. I'm like, what? I didn't sign up for this. And then another thing, that the parking there wasn't in a garage. It was just like parking. So there's times I had to park and then it would rain. My car would like almost get flooded. I just thought that for what I was paying, I deserved more, because I had friends who had their own places. We were paying all around the same amount, but they just lived a lot better. And I'm like, I don't want to live like this. So my lease was up and I was going to move into this luxury building, which was down the street from there. I loved it, but for my budget, I can only get a studio there. And there's nothing wrong with a studio, but it was like a junior studio where they had the wall and everything. It looked like it was a 1-bedroom. It was just no door. I'm like, this is dumb. You should have just left it all open. Like, don't give me a wall and then doorless. And something told me keep looking. So I kept looking. I found the apartment I am in now. And I love it so much more. Like, the pool is beautiful. I have the grocery store. I have a whole strip of like bars and restaurants. I can walk to the beach. The airport is right down the street. I'm in the perfect location. And come to find out, this is the same management company as the other place I was going to move into with the studio. So I moved into this place and I loved it. I did. I loved it. And of course I started bartending again, because that's my go-to. It's kind of, bartending is kind of like my comfort zone. It's like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Okay, bartend. Because then that 9 to 5 job was out. So I was bartending in Miami Beach at a prominent black-owned restaurant. I was doing really well. And the only problem with that restaurant is that they paid you when they feel like it. Now, I was making good money there during that pandemic because it was like cash, cash, cash. But when it came to your check, it used to be like, you're supposed to get paid on Wednesday. Oh, we'll give it to you Thursday. Oh, we'll give it to you Friday. Oh, we're going to give it to you Monday after 5 o'clock, which is technically Tuesday. And that's cool if I didn't have the stuff to take care of. But the way my life is set up, you cannot play with my money like that. You can't. You can't, because I need it. So I was working there, and then I decided to leave that position because there was always a problem with the check. Like, you hear me? Like, you get your check whenever they feel like giving your check. So I found a bar that was like right down the street on the strip that I said that I live near. I'm working there. I loved it. I even got my cousin to come and got her a job there. But they started playing with the schedule. So for me, the bar opened at, I want to say, I don't even remember, like 4 o'clock or something. But they would have me from 4 o'clock to like 1 in the morning on slow days. Like, that's insane. And which was fine. I did it because I'm like, this is the bar hours. You apply for this job. You can't tell them to change your hours for you. What made me leave is that, let's say I'm sick. I'm sick. I get someone to cover my shift. They're going to say, oh, she lives far. She can come in at 7. Then why can't I come in at 7? They're like, oh, well, you live right down the street. Who said I was home? Who said I was home? Just because I live down the street don't mean I was home. You can't tell one girl she can come in at 7 and tell me there's no way I can ever come in at 7. I can always come in at 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock, whatever the time was. I didn't like that. So I left that position and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna leave, which was the dumbest thing I ever did. I said, I'm tired of working in our type of bars where my check is missing or they're doing whatever they feel like it. You have a new manager every day. Let me go to a traditional restaurant that's established. So I go, and I was working there, and I was the only one that looked like myself. And there was another girl that looked like me, but she looked like me, but not like me at all, if you know what that means. But that job was very challenging because I felt very uncomfortable. I went from being around my people when I go to work, we're laughing, we're joking, making friends as co-workers, to working there, and everyone's like a robot, like military, like, make the drink, say hi, I don't got time, where's this, where's that, and I was just like, so that position, well, they actually fired me over something dumb, but I've worked there for a while. And fast forward to where I am now. Now, between all of this, which I didn't mention because I wanted to tell you about the actual jobs I had. A lot of people get on here and they just talk about, oh, I got a bunch of followers, I made a YouTube, and I left everything alone, not talking about how they still paid their bills. So yes, I started my business in August 2020, so I already supplied. And I have a business partner. We've been growing our business, but in the background, I still have to cover my overhead. I can't tell you that I started that business in 2020. It doesn't make me enough to live off of, because it hasn't. I also have the Miami Bar Academy, which is an online platform to teach bartending. I'll drop the link soon as the website is complete. But in my Miami Bar Academy, I teach bartending from the perspective of where do you want to work. Now, we have one phase where if you want to work in a nightclub, strip club, hookah lounge, you learn everything about working in that industry. If you want to learn about cocktails and be a bartender and make drinks, that's a different category, to where I call it like restaurant or upscale lounge, speakeasy, where you're learning cocktail memorization, because every advanced cocktail is a variation of the common cocktails. And my last portion is when you want to be an elevated an event bartender, where you're focused on the palate and what the drink tastes like, how to use fresh ingredients instead of using triple sec, instead of using syrup and these mixes. You're making everything fresh, which will make the drink taste 10 times better. So follow me on the journey as I develop that program. The only thing I have left to do is publish the ebook and record my videos, because I do want the video course. Right now, everything's written down. I just need to sit down in a studio and record it. But I hope you've all just listened to my story and maybe got inspired, or listened to see why my mind is just so, why I feel like I'm delusional about my goals. I really think that I can achieve anything I want to do, because I've been broke before. I'm not scared to fail. I'm not scared to try something and it don't work out. I'm not scared to lose it all and it don't work out. Like, I know that where I'm going, everything will align when the time is right. I pray, I journal, I meditate, I manifest. And I'm not saying that's all you got to do, because behind the meditation, the prayer, the journal, you got to put the work in. And part of me doing this YouTube is holding myself accountable. I will put work in. Once I feel like it's not moving, I'll be like, all right, forget it. I'm over it. On to the next. And I'm at the place where it's like, no, I got to show up for myself. I said I want to do this. I'm going to do it and get it done. So thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for the next video. Please leave comments or questions about what you feel like I should speak on. I'm very open to feedback. Like any mannerisms or something you feel like I should work on, coming from a good and professional opinion, I will consider. But if you're just under my comments just talking, I'm not here for it. But I won't block you. I need the comments. Thank you. So again, my Instagram is Toni Childs. My TikTok is @Toni Aneisha. And let's be on this journey together. Better us all 2023.